everyone, welcome back to another video. In my previous video, I shared everything you need to know about the Crayola colored pencils and why I love them so much. In that video, I promised that I was going to put all of the Crayola colored pencils into color family order. And I have now done that, and I have a chart available in my Etsy shop where all the names are already filled out for you, and all you have to do is swatch the colors. I am going to swatch out all the colors onto that chart in this video. If you would like to swatch with me, you can pause the video here, go download the chart, and you can swatch right along with me. I also have a generic 120 swatch chart. If you would like to grab that one, I will be calling out the order as I swatch the colors, so you can just listen to me and swatch your colors out with me. I'm also in this video going to talk a little bit about how I put the colored pencils into color family order and my process for doing that. If you check the description box down below, I will have everything you see in this video linked down there so that you can easily find it. I will also have links for my Facebook group, my email list, my Etsy shop, and my Patreon if you'd like to support me there. I also now have channel membership. If you would like more information on that, you can click the join button down below the video. So a couple years ago, I did a video called How I Organize My Colored Pencils by Color Family. It was in my Adult Coloring for Beginners series. And in that video, I showed you how I organize my colored pencils into the pencil case. And then towards the end of the video, I explained to you why I put particular pencils where I put them. This is the order that came from doing that, and they were just in order by color families. So this time I was much more particular. I put all of the pencils not just into color family order, but they are also in order right down to the undertones of every single color. So you will see when we start to swatch these colors out how they all come together. They flow together so nicely, and they just look absolutely beautiful once the chart is completed. Okay, so this is my process and how I swatch out the colors. In this case, it was a little bit easier than it usually is because I already had this chart here and they were already all swatched out. And I've been wanting to do this for quite some time because you could see all my colors are on two different charts. This is the chart that is available for free if you sign up for my email list. It is not a full 120 boxes, so I had to separate them onto two different pages. We are now going to have 120 colors all on one page, all separated into color families and then by undertones. But I was able to use this chart here and actually be able to look at all of the colors. Normally, if I'm putting a budget set into color family order, I wouldn't have that advantage, and it probably would have taken me quite a few hours longer because I would have had to do a whole lot more swatching of colors to figure out what goes where. But these are my swatch charts that I was using. I was swatching out all the colors. I used this to determine where I thought the colors would go and which ones had the same undertones. And then I started swatching them out here, and you could see I changed my mind quite a few times. Like right here with the blues, I needed to make sure they flowed together really nicely. That's how I like my charts to look. And then you can see here I was moving things around, but all of these I had swatched out, and then I changed my mind and I had to fit these colors in. So I had to take all of these that share the same undertones, fit those in right here under the colors that had a little bit more purple in them before I went into the blues, and then I was able to get them to flow a lot nicer. And then down here I got into the colors that are blue greens, and some of them have more blue in them than they do green. So I had to go over those quite a few more times and move things around because I wanted to make sure the ones that had more green in them flowed right into the greens, and the ones that had more blue in them that were blue-green were at the end of where the blues are. So I came up with this order here after already swatching them out here and not liking it. So then I had to come back over here and bring those right here and then fit them in and then continue with the teal here and come down. When I got to the greens, I laid all the colors out and I didn't really care the way these two colors were flowing together. So I switched them around, swatched them out the way that I want them on my chart and fit them in back over here. And then I had to do the same thing when I got down here to the olive greens. I always like to put the olive greens before I get into the beiges and then the browns. So I wanted to make sure they flowed together really nicely and all of the undertones were in order. because we do come here where we've got this bronze yellow, which is a very different color. And so that's the color that was going to end up breaking it up before we got into the beige shades. But you could see here when I got to the shades of brown and some of the beiges that I did redo them a couple times because they just weren't flowing together the way that I wanted them to flow together. And I wanted to make sure that I had the undertones in the right order. A lot of these were a little bit confusing, but I think I got them down exactly the way that I want them now, up until I got to the darkest of the colors. And then I don't have any of the grays on here because the grays were super easy. You can see here there's not that many grays in this set, and if you look at these you could clearly tell that this warm gray and the gray as well as the Timberwolf all have the same undertone, and then the cool gray and the ash gray are cool grays, so those went together. These are the warmer grays, and then these are the cooler grays, and then of course we had black. So those were pretty easy because there's not very many of them. But that's how I create all of my charts. For those of you that may want to create your own charts and do that on your own and put your budget sets into color family order, it is a process, but in the end you will really like having all of your colors in order right down to the undertone, because it makes it so much easier when you're trying to choose colors that you want to use on your coloring pages and you're trying to put those colors together. It saves you a whole lot of time in the swatching of colors to see if they go together. It really cuts down on that whole entire process if you have them in a really good order. So we're going to go ahead and swatch these colors out now. So this is the chart that I came up with. It's got all 120 colors all in one place. I love the way that it turned out. We've got all the colors in color family order, starting here, then back up here, then over to the third row. And we've got plenty of space here to be able to see our colors. And if you're anything like me and you like to lay your colors down where you have a very light layer and then a couple layers and then a very heavy layer so you can see the different values of the colors, these charts give you plenty of space to be able to do that. I tried to make all the names big enough so that we can see them, because if you're anything like me and your eyesight is not the greatest, I love to be able to see the names on my color charts, and then I have the gray behind them so that the black still stands out and it still creates that separation between where I have the names and then where I have the space for you to swatch your colors. So I already have them all in color family order in the case, and so I'm just going to show you what they look like. Now, as you know with the Crayolas, the barrel and the tip of the pencil does not match up to what is going to come out of that pencil, so they may look a little bit odd in here, but they are definitely in a good order, and you'll see that after we go through and swatch out all the colors. Now, I do have my colors of the world in here as well, and I did not add those to the swatch chart because it is only for the 120 set. If you would like me to do an additional swatch chart where I add the colors of the world to it as well, I would be glad to do that. Just let me know in the comments below. Okay, so we have 120 colors to swatch out onto our swatch chart, so we need to get started. And I think that I am going to put some music in here, and it will be music, and I will call out the names so that if you're swatching and not watching the screen, you can just swatch your colored pencils right along with me. Okay, so we are going to start with the white pencil. And like I said, I like to swatch my colors out so that I have a lightest and then a medium where I've got a couple layers, and then the darkest where I have very hard pressure so that I could see the full value of the color that is going to come from that particular pencil. So that was white. The next color is Unmellow Yellow, and again I'm going to lay a very light layer, and then I'm going to come about 1/3 of the way down, and I'm going to add some more layers to make the value of the color just a little bit darker, and then I'm going to use much harder pressure. Now, I am using this Spring Hill paper. It is my favorite paper to print out my swatch charts, and if you're looking for a good paper to print out your swatch charts, I will make sure that I have it linked in the description box below. This next color is Lemon Yellow. This is a beautiful bright shade of yellow. Now we're going to use a little bit harder pressure and then very, very hard pressure. And when I do the hard pressure, I like to go backwards, up and down in the other direction to really get that color down there. The next one is Daffodil. Next we have Yellow. I am really super excited to finally have a swatch chart where they're all in order, and I know a lot of you are too, because this has been requested probably more than any other pencil set for me to put them into color family order. The next one is Lemon Glacier. Oh, y'all know this is one of my absolute favorite colors. It's a neon yellow. It's absolutely gorgeous. There are just some of the most beautiful colors in the 120 set of Crayolas. The next one is Golden Yellow, and I do want to thank a lot of you that left comments on my previous video about the 150 set that has been released that is available only at Walmart. I was gonna go over there and pick that up, and I actually had it in my hands, and then I got to the register and I put it back because I'm like, oh, I don't need this, because a lot of you had mentioned that the extra colors that are in the 150 set are from the Colors of Kindness. This next one is going to be Harvest Gold, so I just really need to find that set. I was told that set is actually available at Blick, but it is currently back ordered, so I'm gonna have to go check that out because I do want that set to get those few extra colors. That light blue shade that is in there, I really want that color. If y'all been watching my videos for quite some time, you know how much I love light blues, but supposedly that color is in the Colors of Kindness. This next one is Mango. But I don't think all of those 6 colors are from the Colors of Kindness. I think there's another set that you may need somewhere to be able to get every one of them. So I'm gonna have to look a little bit more into that. I think someone said there was another specialty set or something that you needed to be able to get the extra colors. This next one is Sun Yellow. But I definitely want to have all the colors that are available from Crayola because this is one of my absolute favorite budget sets. Not necessarily because of the way that they lay down on the paper, but a lot of it is because of the colors you get, because there are so many unique colors in this set that you really can't get anywhere else. And you'll see that as we continue to swatch the colors out. This next one is Orange Circuit. And I'm going to try to go a little bit faster here with my swatching. The next one is Light Orange. Look how pretty this color is. Oh my goodness. But look how nicely they're flowing together already. The next one is Yellow Orange. Some of my charts in my store, I do have them available, all swatched out, and some of you, actually quite a few of you, really like that because you don't want to swatch out your own colors. And I try to get the best picture possible so that the colors look very much the same without any editing. This next one is Orange. So if you would like me to put this one, after it's all done and filled out, into my Etsy shop, you'll have to let me know in the comments below. I think a lot of people download those charts and then leave it up on their computer screen, and that helps them to choose their colors. The next one is Atomic Tangerine, my absolute favorite color in this whole entire set. Oh, look how gorgeous that is. Oh my goodness. Love, love, love this color. If you color anything with this color, it literally just pops off the page. I actually have a video where I used this color and colored a butterfly. I will have my playlist for all my Crayola tutorials linked in the upper right hand corner. This one is Heat Wave. Look at some of these gorgeous colors. These are some of my favorite neons. And some of these colors you're not going to find in any other set. That Atomic Tangerine, I have not been able to find a color like that anywhere else, and it is just gorgeous. So we have a few neons here. This next one is Sizzling Sunset, and I think this one has a little bit more pink in it. And some of these that are the neon colors, they are a little bit harder to get that color down on the paper, but once you get it down there, that color screams. It's gorgeous. Next we have Outrageous Orange. This one is absolutely beautiful. I don't know, now that I laid this one down next to that one, it's kind of hard to tell if they actually have pink. I think maybe this one looks like it has a little bit more pink in it, but you can hear them on the paper. They are a little bit more difficult to get down, but look at those colors. Next is Apricot, and this one is one of the ones that I originally had with my browns and beiges, but it had a little bit more orange in it than some of the other colors, and so I moved it. It looked a lot closer to peach, and so that's why I've got it with peach. And this one is peach, but I just thought that one fit in there much better because the two colors, once I got to the shades of beige, did not have any orange in them at all. And if y'all hear planes in the background, it's because I have an airport right next to my house. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to film here. Because there are constant airplanes flying over all the time. This one is Cantaloupe. It seems like every time I go turn my camera on, either I've got an airplane flying overhead and have to start over what I'm saying mid-sentence, or somebody turns their lawnmower on, and then I just have to sit and wait to film. The next one is Coral Reef. Look how gorgeous that color is. I just love the colors in the Crayola set. I really, really do. Now we're moving into the reds. We have Lobster Red, and I think this one still has quite a bit of orange in it. Yes, it's like an orangey red. Now see, this one goes down onto the paper much easier, and the color just lays right down. Yeah, that's one thing with the Crayolas. They're definitely not consistent as far as their laydown, but even so, I still absolutely love them, and I know a lot of you do too. Next is Red Orange. And all I'm doing is dividing the box up into thirds. And if you're a beginner and you don't think you can do that and you need divider lines, I do have a chart in my Etsy shop, but I think it might only be available in a 72 chart. I can't remember, but it has divided lines in it for those of you that are more so beginners and don't feel like you can divide the boxes up yourself. Quite a few of you, when I created that, had requested it, so I wanted to make it available. This one is Ruby Red. Now we have Parrot Pink. And then I have Brick Red. And then I have Mahogany. These are much darker reds. You can see what it looks like once I really get that color down there. I'm going to be so excited to have all of these swatched out in color family order. The next one is Fuzzy Wuzzy. That's a fun name. But I'm very excited about this because it will be so much easier to put my colors together, especially when I'm doing a Crayola tutorial. But this is a really pretty shade of pink. Next is Melon. This is another gorgeous color. This one goes down really nice. Like I said, there's really not a whole lot of consistency with the Crayolas. I love that color though, it's gorgeous. Next we have Salmon. We're gonna start getting into the pinks. The next one is Bubblegum. The next color is Pink. The next one is Tickle Me Pink. I just love some of the names of these pencils. Fuzzy Wuzzy and Tickle Me Pink. Atomic Tangerine. The names are so super creative. This is a really pretty shade of pink. Next we have Blush. Next we have Razzle Dazzle Rose, another really cool name, and another gorgeous shade of pink. I think it matches my nails. Pink Flamingo is the next color. And I think this one looks even brighter. Oh, that's super pretty. Oh, wow. I love these bright, gorgeous, vibrant colors. Next, I have Winter Sky, and look, we're almost done with the first row. Swatching 120 pencils definitely takes quite a while. Especially when you're not just fully laying down the color and you want to get the 3 different values of each one of the colors down onto your swatch chart. And then I have the Fiery Rose, but this color is gorgeous. And this color doesn't really share the same undertone as any of the other colors, so I think that it is going to just create that separation as we go into the pinky purples. I think that's where we're going next. Okay, so let's see where we're going next. Jazzberry Jam. Yeah, I think these are the pinky purples. Next I have Magenta. And these two colors are fairly close to one another, but the magenta is a little bit darker. Next we have Raspberry. How dark that color is. That's so pretty. The next one is Maroon, and this one is similar to the Raspberry. You can see they both have the same undertone. This one is a bit darker. Next one is Pale Rose, and this one is rather strange. It's like a gray purple color, or I would say really more like a gray mauve. It's very strange. You can definitely see mauvey undertones in there, but it looks gray, but it doesn't belong with the grays. Very unique color. Now I have Dark Mauve. I can't wait till these are done to see how they all flow together. I hadn't done that yet. I just figured I would swatch them out with you all so I didn't have to do it twice, because I already swatched them so many times when I was putting them into order. Next we have Mauve, and these are some really pretty shades. I think we have one more that is a shade of mauve, and it's called Mauvelous. That one's next. I think it's lighter, but they're all gorgeous shades. And you can see this Pale Rose, how different it is, but I don't know, it's kind of muted, and I think that it just fit there nicely. Next, like I said, I've got Mauvelous, and we're getting a little bit lighter. This is a really pretty color. The next one is Red Violet, and this one is kind of a pinky purple but has more of a purple undertone to it. These up here you can see have more pink in them, and then this one here has more purple. So this one's going to take us into the shades of purple. This next color is Orchid. And look how pretty that color is. Then we have Lilac. This is a really pretty pale purple. Then I have Royal Purple. Next I have Blue Violet, and this one I think has a lot more purple in it than it does blue. Then I have Ultraviolet. Next is Periwinkle. This is a really pretty pale purple. It does have a little bit of blue in it. Super pretty though. Now we have Purple Mountain's Majesty. Next I have Purple Heart. Then we have Violet, and we are going to start moving into the blues now. There are quite a few purples in this set. There are purples that have more pink in them, and the purples that have more blue in them, and then we get some true purples here. Next is Plum, and then I think this is where we start getting into our shades of blue. This one is a super dark purple, and I don't think there was any other color that looked much like this one. It is super dark, and this is going to take us into the blues, but there are a couple more blues that have a little bit of purple in them before we get there. This dark blue, if I'm remembering right, does look still a little bit purple, but more on the blue side. Then we have Indigo, and this is a beautiful color. When you put this one next to this one, you can really tell that that one has a little bit of purple in it still, even though it's called dark blue. Then we have Navy Blue, and now we're getting into the blues. And you're going to see that there's really pretty blues in this set as well. And then another one of my favorites, this is Outer Space. And if you want to create deep, dark shadows, this is the color to have. But it's kind of like a very deep blue-black. Then I have Midnight Blue. This is another really beautiful color for some deep dark shadows. And look how dark these get. They get super, super dark when you get that color down there. This next one is called Manatee. These are the ones that I could not figure out where to fit them in because they're sort of like gray blues. And I moved them around a couple times to get my chart to flow the way that I wanted it to flow. Wow, that color goes down really nice. This one is Slate, another blue-gray, and it looks a lot like the Manatee, but it's a bit darker. Wild Blue Yonder, this is a very different color, and it is another blue-gray. It's really pretty. And now we're getting into our more true blues. We've got Bluetiful. I love the name of this color, and it's a really pretty dark blue. This one goes down super nice too. Look at that color go straight down there. The next one is Blue. Next I have Light Blue. Next is Bluebell. All of these here are very similar, just different values of the color. There's very little difference between the light blue and the Bluebell. And then we've got True Blue. Next is Cornflower. Next is Absolute Zero, another one of my absolute favorite colors. And if y'all are swatching with me, you'll have to let me know in the comments below. I feel like this is really relaxing. I do love swatching my colored pencils, especially when I'm finally putting them into color family order, or an order that actually makes sense after not having them that way for the longest time, like with these. Next is Sky Blue. We have Blue Bolt. Next is Cerulean. Next I have Pacific Blue, and I love this color. It's so pretty. All of these colors right here, the Pacific Blue, the Cerulean, and the Blue Bolt, and the Sky Blue, and even this Absolute Zero, they look gorgeous together. And if you wanted to put together a color combination, you can go Pacific Blue, Blue Bolt, and then Absolute Zero. That color combination always looks gorgeous. Next I have Turquoise, and this color also looks beautiful with that Pacific Blue. Next I have Green Blue. Okay, we're on the third and final row. I have Teal. Next is Aqua Green. This is such a pretty color. Now we're going to start moving into the greens. I have Sea Green. This is a very light, pale, beautiful green. Next is Tropical Rainforest. Now we got a really beautiful dark green. This is Pine Green. Now we have green. Okay, so now we're going to get into some brighter, more beautiful greens. This one is Shamrock. Next we have Fern. This one's even brighter. Gorgeous color. And this one goes down really nicely. What a pretty color. And the next one is Granny Apple, or Granny Smith Apple. This one is a little bit lighter than that one, but shares the same undertone. These are some gorgeous colors here in this section. Now this one's not going to get very dark, even for the darkest value of the color, but it's a beautiful color. Now we have Spring Frost, and this one is going to be a super light but bright, vibrant green. And this one's not going to get very dark at all either, even with the very hard pressure. This is kind of like a neon green, but they do get brighter because we're coming up to Screamin' Green and Arctic Lime, a couple of my favorites. This Arctic Green is going to be another super light but bright and vibrant green. And this one does look a little bit darker than that Spring Frost, but it does have a different undertone. Super, super pretty color. This is one of my favorites. And then we have Arctic Lime, which is another one of my favorites. And this one is going to be super, super light. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it on camera because it is really, really light. This one has a lot of yellow in it too. It's kind of like a yellowish green. Gorgeous color. The next one I have is lime green, and this is another light color, but it's beautiful, bright, and vibrant. Next we have palm leaf. We've got lots of light, bright greens. This one is another kind of yellowish green. It's more of a muted color. Still a little bright though. And then we've got yellow green. Now I have forest green. Next I have jade green. These are some really pretty greens. Look at this color. So pretty. So we're getting into the more olivier greens. Y'all know I made that word up. Olivier. I really don't think that's a word. Next is olive. This one's going to be a darker shade of the jade green. I feel like I've been doing all this stuff with Crayola the last couple videos. I think the next video should be a tutorial or maybe some color combinations. I have one color combination video. This next one is asparagus, but I have one color combination video I think for Crayolas. Maybe I should do another one and then maybe do a tutorial for y'all. You'll have to let me know what you want to see in the comments below. But again, this is just a little bit of a darker shade than the olive, and this one has less yellow in it than the olive does. And that is the last one of our greens. Now I've got this very different bronze yellow. It really didn't quite fit in with the yellows. It's a very odd color, so I'm putting it here to break up the greens and where the beige and brown shades start. Next we have almond. This is a gorgeous, very pale shade. I kind of wonder if there is a color in the Colors of the World set that's very close to this one. Next I have sand, and I wonder about this one too. I wonder if there's a matching color in that set as well. I'd have to go back and look. This one is just a little bit darker than that one. And this is where I originally had the apricot right in here with the almond and the sand, and it just didn't go because it had a little tinge of orange in it, and so that's why I moved it over by the peach. Now we have tan. And all of these shades here in this section, the browns and the beiges and this shade of tan here, I swatched and re-swatched these colors until they flowed really nicely as far as color family and undertones. This next one is khaki, but I swatched and re-swatched again until I had what I thought looked nicely and just flowed really well together. Next we have burnt sienna. We are getting so close to the end. I feel like I've been swatching for hours. This is light brown. What you all see in the edited version is probably some of this cut out, so it probably took me a lot longer to swatch these colors than what you're actually gonna see. We don't want the video to go on too long. I'm pretty sure it's already gonna be quite long. This next one is copper. Now I have antique brass. So we are almost done. Next we have taupe. We're gonna lay a very light layer of this one down here. There's some really pretty browns in this set. We've got our browns with yellow, we've got some browns with orange in them, then we've got some of our true browns, we've got lighter ones and darker ones. So we do have a really good selection. And then there's also a lot of browns in the Colors of the World set, if you have that set or want to get it and add on. Next I have cocoa, and this one is just a little bit darker, and it looks like it has a little bit of red in it. When I was looking at the full swatch, it had a little bit of a reddish undertone, but not by much. Next I have brown. Now I have dark chocolate. This one is a much darker brown. Yeah, this one's gonna be much darker. And wait till you see beaver, which is the next one. That one is super dark. Okay, so this one is beaver, and this one's a really dark brown. Next we have dark brown, which is even darker. And now we're getting into our grays. We're going to start out with a really pretty light gray. This one is called Timberwolf. This is probably the only color in the set that you would have to make something on your coloring pages look white. And then you can use it along with a white gel pen to black out the edges, and it makes a really cool looking white object on your coloring pages. The next one is warm gray. And this one is gray. Now all three of these here are warm grays. Just different values of warm gray. And the next one is going to be a cool gray, and it's called just that, cool gray. So here's the cool gray, and you can see it has a very blue undertone. It's a very pretty color. And next I have ash. Now I have ash. And then last I have black. Okay, so we've got all our colors all swatched out, and look how beautiful they look and how they just flow together. They're all in color family order right down to the undertones, and they just look so beautiful. I love having a swatch chart that looks like this, and it makes it so much easier for me to put together my color combinations and choose the right colors for my coloring pages without having to swatch everything out. I mean, I still do swatch them out and see how the colors blend together after I choose them, but you don't have to sit there and test colors and test colors and test colors to see what's going to look good and what's going to go together. It is really helpful to have a swatch chart no matter what colored pencil set you have. But if you would like to grab this chart, it is available in my Etsy shop. I will have the link down below in the description box. And then all you would have to do is print it out and swatch out all your colors, and it just makes it so much easier having all of the names printed out, and it looks so much nicer once it's done. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful. I put so much time into this color family order, and I just love the way that it turned out. But I hope that it helps some of you to be able to get your 120 set of Crayolas all in color family order and all swatched out. Again, if you would like to have this chart for yourself, you can check the description box down below, and I'll have the link down there for it. If you would like just a generic chart so you could follow along with the video, I also have one of those in my Etsy shop, but it's in a different format. This one has all the boxes going vertically, and the other one is a horizontal chart. Everything you've seen in this video will be in the description box below. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.